Just borrow my slide.
Call the meeting to order. Tom, would you lead us tonight?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to have a moment of silence for Pam Frazier, who passed away last evening. She used to be our assessor clerk. Thank you. Okay, we have no scheduled speakers. And, not correct?
Yep.
We'll do the meeting minutes.
Make a motion to accept them? I'll second the motion to accept the November 29th minutes as drafted.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstained? And we have some meeting minutes from a non-public meeting. That was on November 1st. And I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from November 1st.
One second.
Comments? Nope. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any public comments this evening?
I have one from Tom Beeler. I had to stop in and see him today on something, and
Who is
he's-
Tom Beeler?
Oh, from the Independent.
Okay.
And he has requested that the selectmen consider moving their meetings till Thursday nights so that he could attend the meetings. So I said I would pass that on to him, and I mentioned that the meetings were taped and that maybe he should contact Representative Comeau on his taping abilities and see if that's something that could be worked out, is using those tapes. Other than that, yes.
May I make a public comment?
Sure, go ahead.
I hope you don't change the date,
Well,
because I have a music class on Thursday.
well, there you go.
That's good enough reason.
That takes precedence.
That's right.
Okay, thanks.
So I pass
But
on.
over and above that, our administrative assistant day is Wednesday, and I think that very instant follow the very next day kind of keeps things flowing. So
Absolutely.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yep. Okay, any other public comments? Treasurer's report. Mary Lou?
Good evening. So, money in the bank. It's still my favorite time of year. It's still my favorite time of year. So at Meredith Village Savings Bank, we have $262,042.99. In the checking account, in the savings account, $68,288.49. And then in Profile Bank, $324,876.15 for a total of $655,207.63. So, I have written the check for the trustees that you will sign tonight. That's $96,550. And I expect to be trading a check with them for $110,000 for the town. So we'll actually be up about $13,000. Bills I know that we have left to pay this year, big ones, are the town of Wakefield will owe another almost $71,000. And the school district, we will owe another $61,488 for about $132,500 about for the rest of the year, and then any regular bills. We have regular bills here. So that's what I see left.
We were going to use the trustees of the trust fund to invest a portion of our receipts.
Yes.
So can we cut a check for a couple $100,000, let them invest it?
I bet we could.
They're gonna meet on they're meeting shortly, right? They're meeting the.
Yeah, oh, they are meeting shortly. I've been in touch with Rich Norton, And so we're gonna do the whole thing with charter trust and all. So I've done that, and we also have it now so that the Verizon phone that was paid for by the town has now been transferred over to an individual account. So those are the things I've done. But yeah, I can definitely cut.
You picked the right number. Take a look at your cash flow for the next, you know, and
Yep.
How much do we have to end the year out as far as money available to us to spend?
Well, the big ones are the 132,000, and then we'll have others as well. We'll have one more month worth of salary for the hourly employees, and we will have any bills that come in through January. I cut it off January 10th, according to the state.
So how does that look? Will we make it under the?
Oh, yeah, we will be under budget, yeah.
that's the question.
That's
the question.
that's-
The question.
That's-
By how
Sure,
much?
I looked last night.
Well, I can't tell you how much. I can tell you better after I do these bills.
Like 50, 10, 5?
You know what, all I looked at last night was everybody's under budget.
Okay.
So when I look at the report, and I thought, well, okay, then we're doing fairly well.
Okay.
But I can get you a magic number. And,
Now, we've got some new bills here tonight. That's why,
I know, yeah, we have.
here, that you haven't seen yet. So, okay.
And I think that's about it for me till bills and checks. And then, I didn't look at the agenda. I assume we're doing budget after.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
okay.
Diana, tax collector, you have anything?
Yeah, I do. First of all, I think I have one statement here. So far, we've been getting money in pretty steadily, but we're only 65% has been collected. So I'm anticipating at least another 150,000. Haven't got my big packet from CoreLogic yet. I've got a few smaller ones. So just to add to the income, I'm saying, usually we're right around 80–82% by the end of our tax cycle, by the due date, which is next Friday.
This Friday.
This is coming Friday, yes. A couple days from now.
Yes.
I'm just going by too damn fast,
Yes.
that's all there is to it. I have some abatements I'd like to have taken care of before the end of the year.
All right.
I can either just give them all to you, or have you sign them
Or how about you telling us what they are?
as we go along. So that's what I thought I would do.
Okay.
Well, you want me to just explain each one and pass them around? You guys can sign them, then I can give a copy. First one is the second issue bill for the George Wigan Estate Cemetery, which comes in every year.
Do we want to continue doing this yearly, or do we just want to do it permanently?
Can we do it permanently?
Well, I know originally you wanted to keep on doing it this way, but I don't know quite why.
I don't know quite why either. We got that letter that the owner
Yeah.
pulled out of the safe
Right.
deposit box saying his taxes have been abated forever by the selectmen of the town of Brookfield. From years ago.
Well, we're not anticipating
Well,
making any
we'll
big
talk to the
changes.
attorney, I guess.
Uh,
Not worth spending the money, I realize.
It's $132.
That was just for the second issue. It was 132 for the first issue, which you had already signed.
And the baby, so it's,
Back in June, you signed the first issue. This is the second issue.
and this is the only cemetery in town that we issue a tax bill for.
Correct. And there are other cemeteries on lots that, there's even one that has its own tax map and lot, but we don't ever issue a bill for it. And that's on the Adelaide Hughes estate property.
And this isn't very big, and it's got a value for taxes of $500 a year.
240, looks like, 260.
I thought you said this was half a year.
That's a half a year, so
Yeah,
it's
130.
Oh, I'm sorry, 132 double.
264.
Okay.
Yeah. We've already done the June one on that one.
We can, if we make a motion, we can set this to 0 in the assessor's database, and we will not have bills anymore. That's what I believe we do for the other cemeteries in town, other burying ground,
It
burying.
makes way more sense to keep signing a form and having to generate a bill every year or every 6 months.
You're suggesting.
I think we should zero it out.
Sure, go ahead. You
Make
want
a-
zero my taxes out too?
We'll talk about that later.
All right, so I make a motion that.
You keep trying. It never works, but you keep trying. The second one
We're
is.
gonna make a motion, we're gonna make a motion.
Okay.
All right, so I make a motion for map 25, lot 2, location Wentworth Road, book 420, page 364, that we zero out the taxes for all time.
That's the one next to your driveway.
You'll be glad to hear that.
Well, they haven't got a bill anyway, so I don't know if they even realize that we're still doing this, because I've pulled the bill every time I haven't sent it to them.
I'd like to amend that motion.
Okay.
Until we change the motion back, not for all time, that's like forever.
Yeah, that was the idea, but,
But if in 10 years, something happens and they want to go back,
okay.
so until it's, not forever, until the board sees
Further notice.
further notice.
Yeah, sounds good.
So we don't lock somebody in forever.
Oh, and now, I was gonna vote no because of that, so this is to clarify.
Okay, any discussion on it?
As, on your amendment? Or
On
as
the
amended?
on the amended motion,
Move the motion and vote yes?
okay? Yes.
Yes.
So we're gonna ask the assessor clerk to make that value 0 in the system, like the other cemeteries.
Yep.
And you sign that, please.
The second one doesn't need too much explanation. It's the Sandonville Water District. Ta-da! We can't zero that one out, and that's because we cannot tax the buildings and a payment in lieu of taxes situation. So what I do is I send them a letter under your name and deduct the amount for that. Next one is Town of Brookfield. We're gonna have a few here coming up. They all pertain to that cemetery lot. Some,
Which cemetery lot?
the new one, not the cemetery lot, the whole piece of property that we bought from Martha Hunter. I don't know which is which, so I don't have any way of, some of them were, already removed by the assessing department, some of them were not. Those that were not have to be removed now. Hopefully, this will be the only time we'll have any
Yeah.
of these.
Now that we see the ones that generate, she can clean them up.
And these are all of them. Some of them have changed since then, but in the process of her getting it done and printing the warrant and us sending out the bills, it changed. That's when the change took place, so. And this one is, Martha Hunter, and that is another one of the ones that had to be,
There should
And
be,
these are in mounts,
changed.
or,
there should be 2, right?
whoops,
Yes.
another one that's on the bottom.
yes, there were two.
There should be 2.
And these, I'm sure, will never happen again. As with these this is the last one, and I combined tax map 29, lots 6, 14, and 15, tax map 36, lot 1. They're on Tumbledown Dick Road and Woodman Hill Road, and they're the property that now are owned by the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department.
This is new to them, they've always had it.
No, they just purchased it from Chuck Robbins this past year.
How much land did they do?
A lot. I don't know the exact amount. A lot. We have a tremendous amount of land in Brookfield now that is owned by the
Any of it
state of
waterfront?
New Hampshire.
No,
I don't think so. I think they kept the waterfront. I think it's all the back,
Well, it makes sense. that
all
they
the
didn't-
backlands.
we've got 3 here for Marcia Hunter. I guess I don't understand.
Well, one's the town of Brookfield. That one from the town of Brookfield, actually, I believe, is that map 18? Which one's map 18?
Okay.
No, that's
I'm gonna read
20.
my own right now.
Okay, the town of Brookfield, this one here, is the one that, was owned by that West Lake.
Fairpoint. This
and
is-
Fair-
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what that
goes-
one is.
So that goes on that pile, that's signed.
So that's.
Then the other 2 are Marcia's, and that, I understand.
Yeah.
So I didn't sign one of them.
Okay. And with these all cleaned up and not sending Wiggins anymore, probably from now on, we'll only have one. I should never say that, should I?
No.
But where we're standing now, we'll only have one. We've never had so many, I don't think.
Okay.
Holy mackerel, this is a lot, till I started looking at them. And that is all I have.
Okay.
Thank you very much. That was kind of painful. And now, do you want copies of these? Do you have a file for these, or are we gonna
do.
just keep it?
I think I do.
Okay, then I'm gonna make you a copy of each one of
I
those.
just have this portion.
Okay. You don't care about having any?
I don't think I've ever received those before, just
I don't
this-
think so. I'm
this
just,
thing.
we have so many this year, and, we have these new auditors, and they're
I think
persnickety.
you need to put a note on the one where it's only done by, until the selectmen deem otherwise, the one in the cemetery, you need a note on that. Somewhere stating that was the
Yeah.
motion.
Why don't you put a copy of the motion on that abatement,
That's what I was
so
thinking.
someone looks.
Okay, I'm gonna make you copies. I didn't make them before because I wanted signatures on them.
Right.
And-
So I'll
And
take
for
care of
that one, get us to sign,
Thank
all
you.
3 of us. Because the problem we're having is this letter that came out of a safe deposit box from 30, 40 years ago has one signature on it.
Yeah, like a single.
And we can't, there's no way to trace it. There's no way to confirm that the board did it. So
Right.
that would be good.
And the person that signed it is deceased.
But the letter exists.
The letter.
Okay, administrative assistant, Laura, do you have anything for us?
I do.
Okay.
A couple things. One is a question. Since there's extra money in the budget,
See? See?
Oh, boy.
This is a new item.
new item. Would it be possible to get a chair for my office so I don't have to feel like a little kid? Or Diana. I steal her chair all the time because it's the highest one in this
I don't
building.
complain, I do not.
Will she notice if you swap chairs?
I don't know. Will you care if I steal your chair?
What's George
The
at?
one that's at my desk is in pretty rough shape.
Wait, let's look. I bet there's money, possibly.
We get it from Staples.
Yeah, that's where these came from.
That's
Want me to get you a folding chair over there?
phone books.
Very kind of you.
Yeah, why don't you just order one through Staples?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to invest any time in it without asking you guys first.
No, fair enough,
so-
but no, I would say just order one from two.
Here's
Staples.
softies. All right.
This, we spent $100 on these.
Yeah.
Give you a ballpark number, so
Okay.
try to keep it under that.
Okay.
All right.
But you need the things you need, the height thing and all
Well,
that.
that's the biggest thing is the height, because even these chairs are lower than Diana's, so I would want to take
They're
some.
all handy, both of those chairs are hand-me-downs from Jenny, because she didn't like them, so.
That's really a no comment.
Okay, no
Okay,
comment. Anything
so
else?
On to the next thing. So I have, this is the most updated and final copy of the 10 contract. So I don't know if you want to sign this tonight. The rate sheet is on the back. I added a place for a signature.
And that's the one we agreed to 3-4 weeks ago.
November 8th.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, I just have some concerns, but we've agreed to it, so.
Yeah, we
Yeah, we agreed to it, yeah. Oh, yes, I have.
but that's all right. You're gonna be able to sign it too.
So, is he here?
Ed?
Yes.
Oh, good, I can ask my concerns.
It is.
Can you get him? Just so we can sign. Thanks, Ed.
Oh, all right.
We're just signing a contract for you, should be here.
Yeah, I like that.
We're gonna get Laura to sign your name for you.
Okay, I did it. Is this the invisible ink that disappears after?
Use that on the checks.
Yeah, I think you do.
Okay, we give that back to Lori, and she's gonna make copies.
Do we have to sign the rate page? Is that what you said, Laura?
Oh, the initial
Yeah.
thing?
I just thought of that as I sort of walked in.
The last
Yeah,
one.
that's,
Yep.
I thought so. Okay.
Just to update it.
Mhm.
Let me get your pen back.
Yeah, all right. There we go.
Thank you. That was it for me.
Okay, thank you. Planning board meets Thursday.
Thursday the 15th, 6:30 PM.
Code enforcement, Ed, do you have anything for us?
Sure, nothing,
Any road agent?
snowing. No.
As he smiles.
Yeah, did you notice that?
No, you know, it's beginning to wonder there.
I have a concern. When I came in on Monday or Tuesday morning, I don't remember which it was, Tuesday maybe, Virginia was very concerned that the walkway was not shoveled out. And some of the people that were not physically up to snuff were doing the shoveling of that. And I know that's one of the things that you said you were going to do. And she was concerned that maybe we can address this. We have other people that come in during the week
Sure.
as well. So I don't know how that gets addressed, that it's done.
I'll just do it. I apologize if she got here this morning before I got to it.
It was Monday.
Monday?
No, it was.
Tuesday.
Today's
she was-
Tuesday.
Yeah, it was today.
Oh,
It was today that she was.
Well, I got a call yesterday.
yeah.
Didn't it
It
snow
was last
yesterday?
night, it was
Yeah,
last night,
it snowed yesterday.
Well, anyway,
whatever day it was.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other road agent issues?
No. I just had it was a trying time for me this past storm, but I think I'm through it.
Okay.
Rather expensive, but we're all ready, we'll be ready for the next one.
How is your new truck going?
I thought it was gonna be great. I lost the wing first trip out on that storm, completely off the truck. The last pass, after I scraped yesterday afternoon, before I started putting sand down, I was all the way up into this, and this is a perfect example. We'll use my bad situation to explain something. This is a perfect example why we do
Tibbetts Hill last, or Walker, or any of those. I got all the way up, top of Tibbetts Hill, and my hydraulic pump went, so I couldn't lift any of the plow gear or anything else. But I was the very last bit I had to do, so it made for a hairy situation, but got it taken care of. Should have that all back together tomorrow afternoon. Yeah.
We'll be ready for Saturday.
Or a little something, what are we getting, a little something tonight? Up to an
I
inch?
didn't think that much, but anyway.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, can I ask the road agent a question?
sure.
This is about our, the redesign or the raising of a road after it's done, and mailboxes. Who's responsible for raising the mailbox? And is that set in law somewhere?
I don't believe it's set anywhere. I don't know. I don't know if we should be doing that, or, because we're not responsible for those items in the travel way, whether they get broken or abused or whatnot.
Well, many people on the road have had a problem with the post office, because when the road was raised,
Yep.
of course, everybody's mailbox
They probably
was
are.
below, now it's below the amount. And I just wondered who was responsible, and perhaps we should just be ready for those answers when someone asks
Sure.
it. Because I checked with the postmaster, and she says it is my responsibility to keep that up at a certain height. But I'm just saying, be ready for the questions you
Yep.
might get.
We had to raise ours, I know. And,
I raised mine up.
yeah.
I just did it myself.
Okay. Conservation Commission. Heritage Commission's up next.
We sold 7 desks. All the desks that we had planned to sell are gone,
Thank you.
certainly.
So, a gentleman came into the craft fair and bought the last 3. And when I talked to him, he was also the gentleman that bought the 2 that were in the auction up in Ossipee. He is a new gentleman to town, and he is setting up an old-fashioned school in his basement. So I wrote him a thank you note this week and asked if he wanted any textbooks. So,
Good thinking.
yeah, thank you.
Pianos.
Pianos, oh my God.
Wainscoting, pianos, bricks.
He wanted a chalkboard, the one thing we didn't keep any of, but I thanked him for his purchase, and so the 7 that we had said we would sell have been sold, and the money's been put in the town account. So,
The Heritage Commission account.
no, the town account, they were town property.
Really?
Well,
That sounds more than we need some money.
No wonder we have.
I'll pay for Laura's new chair.
so, yeah, no, I put it in it's town property,
Okay.
so
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it for now.
Okay. Cemetery trustees. We got the graves were laid out.
Graves are laid out in Section B. They'll be laid out in Section A, but weather got to be 0. Nobody wanted to work outside. Now they're covered with snow, so A probably won't be laid out until spring.
It's officially closed December 1st, right? That's the policy.
Yeah.
December 1st to April 1st, something like
April
that.
1st it's supposed to be open, weather pending.
Okay. Good, thank you. Any other boards or committees? Okay, old business. The first item is proposed rules, regulations for the new town land. Conservation Commission gave us a list of their recommendations as to what should be the regulations for the land. I see at least 2 issues. who's gonna manage it? Right now, the selectmen are obligated to manage it because no one else has been put in charge. We could ask the Conservation Commission to manage it, and that goes through the town meeting. Or we could form a forestry committee to manage it. Again, that goes through the town meeting. Or we leave it in our hands. The other thing we should note, it's not a town forest.
Correct.
There's all kinds of legal things to make it a town forest, and there's some RSAs that you have to abide by. But the Conservation Commission or a committee can manage town land if we ask them to. Oh, Tom, you had a question?
The suggestions that the Conservation Commission submitted to you were not looked upon by the commission as a final thing, it's gotta be this. These were the minimum suggestions, and the final one was that anything else would have to be approved by the Board of Selectmen. Because you don't know what's gonna come up in the future for potential uses for the property.
Another question?
Sure, go ahead. So Ed had a question, though.
My only question would be, before enacting any policies like that, since it is public property in the town, townspeople are footing the bill for it, are you gonna have a hearing on the suggested ordinances, or however you wanna, I mean, I would suggest you have a hearing on that.
Okay, thank you.
Since
Bill?
My question was on snow machines, especially where that road is going in. I don't know if we own to the middle of the road, the edge of the road, or whatever. The old Governor's Road going in there is, anybody know where we own to on that?
The middle of the road.
So would this prohibit people from coming up? They'd have to stay on one side of the road and couldn't stay on our side of the road because it would be all-inclusive?
Do you own both sides of the road?
Middle,
So to the middle of the road, and and that is still a public road,
class 6.
class 6
So what's
road,
that?
so
Not an
the
issue.
people have the right to use it.
Okay.
And it is being used.
Oh, yeah.
With the fresh snow, there's a lot of vehicle activity down that old Governor's Road.
It's always been a good hunting area.
Season's closed.
I know, but I'm just saying, you have people in there for hunting, snowmobiles. A lot of people use that road.
The reason the list was prepared, I believe, was that the police call us and say, is the following allowed? We have no guidelines.
Mhm.
But I think that the big question is, who wants to govern it? Do we want to do it and have the hearings and go through that, which would be fine? Or do we want to ask the Conservation Commission if they'd be interested in managing it? Or do we ask the town to form a forestry committee, I believe it's called, at the town meeting? And then they would make the rules. So, Tom?
If it's designated as a town forest, I believe under the state RSAs, any income derived from the property by logging, etc., belongs to the town forest committee, not the town.
That's right. That's why didn't call it a town forest, it's town land.
Right, that's right.
That's the distinction.
Yes.
Once the town, at a town meeting says it's a town forest, you start following that RSA.
In which we, in it being discussed on the vote, was that would be a potential income down the road for the town to offset taxes.
Yes.
Down the road, so it would be,
Yes, it's my belief that if at town meeting, the Conservation Commission said, we want to take some town forestry money and give it back to the town, that would be authorized. But it would need a motion at the town meeting. If it's a town forest, yes, it,
Money derived from logging as town property still goes to the town, though.
not if it's a town forest.
I understand, but the implications of Bill's question was being money derived from it as a town forest
Goes
is,
to,
it would be income to offset it. And my point is, any income as town property, not forest, could be used to offset the taxes.
town
If it
property,
remains-
yes,
If it remains just town property.
Yes.
As
yes.
soon as you title it town.
Oh, I
forest,
understand
that's-
that.
And my point was that it should remain that way, since that's the way that it was being discussed at town meeting, that it would be
And hence
used
that was the
potentially.
reason my suggestion of having a hearing. People have certain, as we heard last selectmen's meeting about, their perception on how this was gonna get paid for, there is a certain perception on people of what this will be able to be used for. And it should be not necessarily a hearing to see who's gonna manage it, but the use of the property. What it should be used for, or how it should be regulated.
Oh, I'm sorry, Diane.
If, I missed the last Board of Selectmen meeting, I don't know if these rules and regulations were made public at that point.
I don't believe so.
Okay, so none of us, other than you folks, know what these rules and regulations are. It's, so I agree with Ed that it goes beyond managing it, it's defining what those rules and regulations are going to be before someone is in a position of managing under those constraints.
Oh, I was going the other way. Not act on these until we find out how we're gonna govern it. So the committee or the conservation committee would govern it and make the list up. I think this is just precipitating.
So it comes down to what we talked about several months ago, in my opinion, and that is, what is the overarching goal and plan for the property? And we talked about that last spring and early summer, about making an assessment, doing a study, or getting some funding to help us define, or not define, but to identify what use that property is going to serve the community and how people would be allowed to use it. So it was, I guess I guess we're looking at this from two different angles, but you pose the question of the three different entities that are the three ways to manage the property as being a committee, former forest, or just leave it up to the Board of Selectmen.
No, I'm sorry, let me say that differently. Board of Selectmen, Conservation Commission, or a forestry committee. Independent of that is the definition of the land. Is it a town forest or not? Because once you make it a town forest, you have different constraints. So that's a separate issue. My question is, how do we want to manage it?
I think the selectmen should hold on to it till the property's paid off.
Okay? Yeah, what's your comments?
I agree with you, Bill, that until I don't even know if the payoff is the biggest thing, but as much as I think the town, either we need to have a hearing or we need to go ahead and get the town to weigh in on at town meeting, but I think for at least the foreseeable future, the selectmen should continue to manage it, for lack of better terms. Yes, we need to set up guidelines on how it's going to be used and what the rules and regulations are, but that's going to be in a pretty open forum that ultimately I think the selectmen need to be the governing body over that for the time being.
Okay.
And maybe once when we start to get a direction or a clarification of what the land's gonna be good for, used for, that's when we can then set up a separate body to manage and do so.
Okay.
Would you say?
And would that be elected, would that be appointed, and all, there's a lot
A
of,
lot of stuff we'd have to figure out. Right now, I think it's more just land in use for the town, and we need to just dictate through the town what the terms and
Okay.
conditions are.
That's what you're going with it? Okay. So we're gonna manage it for at least 6-7 years until it's paid off?
well, no, at least, I think until it's paid off, but at least for a couple of years till we.
Yeah, at least for a couple of years, and maybe once we get a direction, maybe that would change.
Okay, I understand. So, all right, if that's what we wanna do, that's fine. So what we're gonna have to do is take this list. Yes, Tom?
My concern is, I think you think this is a big long list of stuff. It's only a few basic things that the property was always used for before,
I'll re-
hunting and hiking and whatever.
I'll read the list.
And not, it's to give the selectmen a guide, so that when they come in and say, hey, you know, we got a big drug party going on in there, is this okay?
Yeah.
No, it's not. The final line there is the selectmen have to be asked about anything other than these 5 or 6 items.
Okay, so it says, I want to strike the word forest and say the town land
Okay?
shall only be open from sunrise to sunset. This is their recommendations from the Conservation Commission. The town shall be carry in, carry out, no trash receptacles, no powered vehicles, machines allowed. Only the following uses, activities shall be allowed: hiking, picnicking, hunting, bicycling, bird watching, fishing, orientation, tracking,
Orienteering is probably what it
that's what it meant. Tracking, trapping with permit, and horseback riding. So that was the list that was recommended. It's pretty benign.
Then didn't we put on, anything else had to be okay by the...
The last sentence, any other activity uses must be approved by the town selectmen in writing. So that's what we'll have to talk about in the future. Yes, Diane?
I guess I'm perplexed, excuse me if I've missed this before, but why is there discussion of waiting until the land is paid for to do anything? I'm perplexed
Oh,
about
that was if we're going to change the governance. Bill suggested.
That's where I was coming from, that, I mean, obviously it could be done right away, but in my opinion, that we should wait till the land is owned and paid off, and then at that point, make the decision on which direction to go.
We do own it.
No, let me say it differently. I think what he's saying is, before we decide whether it goes to the Conservation Commission or a Forestry Commission, the selectmen manage it for the next few years. Right?
Right.
We manage it for the next few years. And decide what's allowed, what's not allowed.
We don't own it until 6 more years.
Isn't it, wait a minute, it's in the registry of deeds.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah,
own it.
yeah.
All right, we're paying the
Yeah,
mortgage.
it's
Mortgaged it with the.
There's a lien on it, the town owns it, but there's a lien on it.
Yeah.
Right, the town owns it, that's what I'm perplexed about. Why is there even any discussion about delaying decision-making or the, okay.
Owning it to me is when you own it free and clear, you don't owe any money.
No, the town owns it, it's in the town's name, it's registered in the registry of deeds as being the town is the owner, correct? Okay, all right, that confused me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna have to deal with this right after the first of the year. We'll put together a plan for having getting public input as to what the rules and regs look like. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna do the budget, but there's some other issues that have come up that I'd like to just discuss. You saw the letter from Craig Evans. He made an expenditure on the cemetery that was out of his pocket because he had to make a decision on the spot for $400 for additional fill to have the driveway put in completely. And he's saying if there's money left in the budget, could we reimburse him? I think that summarizes what it was. Feelings on that?
Yeah, I think, it had to be done.
I thanked him in my email back to him. I thanked him for making the decision and keeping the project moving. He was gonna take it out of his pocket if we didn't reimburse, but he felt it had to be done. The equipment was there and it's down to Mary Lou then. And the next item that I wanted to bring up is we got a letter, and I thanked Ernie Brown for the letter. Selectmen, the school board just received the proposed budget for the coming school year. The overall increase is 2.26%. One thing jumped out during the presentation, and that was the town of Brookfield tax rate increase for the school. As presented is $1.82. Increase
For next year,
for next year.
yes.
The reason for the increase is that the town student population has had a significant increase in percentage. And the numbers run from, they were at 87 in 2007, they dropped down to a low of 68 in 2014, and they've gone up to 83 in 2016. As you can see from the student population has been decreasing, but now the number is increasing, and that's the cause of the increase. Remember, we tax on the past year's population. So what he's doing is giving us a heads up that at the end of next year, the current projection is that the school budget tax bill will go up by $1.82 per thousand. I didn't want to get this word out, so people should start saving. I mean,
Yeah. Your ESCO's gonna go up, or you're gonna have a big tax bill.
yeah, that's what he's telling us right now, that for a $200,000 house, your tax bill's going up for the school 2 times 182, but $360. He's telling us that now, so, I mean, we should be aware of that. We can put it
When
on.
does the school have their budget meetings? Final ones, aren't they in January?
No, you vote on the budget in,
April?
March, April, isn't it? 'Cause we
But we
vote,
voted in March, but when are their final hearings and all,
Don't know.
aren't they January?
don't know.
I think they're January.
What are we in actuality using those numbers paying per student? What does it cost us per student, forgetting how it's all split, when it really comes down to it, what are we paying per student?
So we pay them.
So I don't know what year they're using here, was it
Well,
14?
Well, they're gonna go back to 16 now, right? Well, I don't know.
And
That's
what
the
year
big-
are they talking about for tax
Well, that's
purposes?
the big jump, is 68 to 84.
Yeah.
How many students did they have this last year?
Well, use a number like 84.
Or do they have?
We're going from 68.
14,639.85.
With how many students?
84.
Okay.
14,000 we're paying per
Per
student.
student,
Per student, that doesn't cost the state portion,
no.
Well, the state,
but we get money back.
yes, the state helps us get to that number. We're a receiver town.
So,
I don't know when their
we
budget
thank all
cycle
the
is.
homeschoolers.
Rebate would be just fine, thank you.
Ed,
There is another issue coming up in the legislature this time around about the stabilization grant being changed. So the money is going to impact, that lack of funding is going to impact the towns. Are you aware of that?
I don't know what a stabilization grant is.
Well, the state gathers money and then gives it to the towns to stabilize the uptick of costs. And that, right, and that pot of money is going to disappear because last session it was voted to be discontinued. So that, there's gonna be a change in that. Now, I'm sure they're gonna talk about it, the school board.
We got 3 different components now. School board's independent, so that deals with the school board.
Right,
We-
your school funding.
We get grant money also from the state,
That's what he's talking about, it's the
The
grant money,
stabilization.
that's
to the state.
the stabilization grant, that's the name of the grant that pays this town to stabilize.
The information probably hasn't gotten to the towns yet. I know Ossipee received that letter from the state. I don't know if you've gotten it yet. I'm just telling you this now because that's also going to impact the cost.
You might want to put school property on that list of uses then.
But the legislature is gonna have to revisit that because a lot of towns are unhappy and it's gonna.
We get two large pieces of money from the town, from the state. 25,000 for meals and rooms, and 20,000 for highway block grant. They're the two biggies, so might be one of those two. I guess, they're the only two big ones we get.
No, I don't think so.
If you look at the worksheet for our Wentworth School District, there, it's in the worksheet for defraying, when you said earlier that there's a state portion that defrays the expense to the town of Brookfield because we're a receiver town. I think that's what you're talking about.
It's the 178.
Okay, so it's not in our budget, it's in the
It's
school
not in the budget.
It's not in
budget,
our
school
budget.
budget.
School's budget, yeah.
Okay, how much
So
is
would
it?
would you add that grant to the per student cost that Bill was looking for?
I didn't.
But you actually should, to see what the,
So if it's
School.
discontinued, absolutely.
to see what the school is charging per student, not what we pay, but what's the school charging per student?
Okay, just want to make you aware of the budget, the tax rate going up. If you have questions like that, you've got the regional school district meetings you can go to and ask those questions.
On that depressing note,
Yes. Oh, it's big, it's a lot of money. I mean,
It represents a lot of money.
yes, I did the calculations, yes, and that's,
But
that's,
if you lose that subsidization grant, stabilization grant, excuse me, you're gonna have to add that in per student too.
okay.
And that'd be tons of money.
And the county is a component. We have to send a letter, I'm moving on, we have to send a letter to the assessing companies indicating which company won the,
The bidding.
yes,
For the assessing contract.
any,
only to the ones who submitted the bid.
yes, yes, any insight as to where that,
Maybe I shouldn't have sold those desks.
Good thing you redid this.
Any what?
do you screw up the letter?
No, I will.
Please, thank you.
All right,
Brian's gonna draft a letter to Avatar saying they didn't get the contract. Thanking them for working with us for the past few years.
okay.
All right, any items from you folks? Budget, you wanna do budget? I had a spreadsheet that I left home that showed the proposed
Oh.
expenditures.
Wait, I have some.
No, for the next 5 years,
Yes.
I had our expenditures
That's right, you did it.
for the next 5 years, and I left it on the printer. I left it on the printer. It's not even on the G drive. I can't even get it from the cloud. It's on the printer. Came to $127,000 over the next 5 years. I don't know if I can do it from memory.
And there would be such things as,
There'll be a
As
hearing.
roof, as in painting, as in, do we want to paint this? Do we want to put new carpeting in? Do we want to do new siding next door or just paint it? Do we want to paint the inside? Do we want to plaster the inside?
did you see the front cover of the town and the magazine we get from the, what's it called? Cities in Town?
Yeah.
Town, city in town, and the nice white building there. I wondered if that was redone, the clapboards on that or not. No, that looks too pristine. What town was it, Hopkinton or?
Was it Amherst?
Amherst.
What was it?
Yeah, I don't know if it's Amherst, but they got.
But I just
wealthy
looking at
town.
that building, and it looked like, you know, if they took a picture of ours, you'd see all the paint falling off. And that looked perfect, the siding on there.
They
and I
probably
just wondered-
re-sided it, yeah, they probably put nice brand new siding.
Well, I mean, that's from historical purposes.
oh.
I
So
was
I
going
did
from there.
look into what happens with wood buildings and the best way to prepare the wood, and it's just all labor intensive. It is scraping it and doing and watching out for lead paint and remediation.
Can you replace it or just go over it? Is that, how does the heritage, or the,
It has to be, you have to get down, and if you need to replace the boards, if they're soft or whatever, yeah, the boards would have to be replaced.
would it be cheaper, I'm asking?
Oh.
Would it be allowed?
Oh, I guarantee you.
Would it be allowed to just put new white clapboards over the old clapboards.
Yeah, that'd be the way to go.
Seal in the lead paint.
Probably.
And it would probably straighten it up through
I'll
all
go
the,
back
all
to
that
the-
waviness.
There's, I forget who has them, but and we have a booklet on it, on the best ways to preserve old buildings, but Bill had asked me to look that up, so I did look it up, but it was mostly just really getting down to the bare wood, but yeah, possibly sealing it, I'll ask.
On the sides, we could do that. The front has all the detailed cedar shakes.
Yeah,
Heavy sigh. That's
Yeah.
expensive to play with cedar shakes.
yeah,
Okay, let's
they
look
said it
at
was very expensive.
That's why I was looking at that building and was just curious from the looks of it, what they had done and where they were coming from.
Was it an old building or just a
Well,
new?
it looks like an old
What
building.
was
Or
it
was
on?
it, was it a new building that?
Town and
Country, or the town and.
cities and towns, whatever it is, the one we
Is
get.
there a copy in here?
Mostly one
Careful with my thing.
It had two entrances to it, front door.
Amherst did do a big one, wasn't it? Amherst, who was the other one that did a big one? Beautiful job. They raised it.
Where was it?
Kensington.
Oh,
Kensington.
We were all really close.
That is lovely. Looks like Cotton Mountain Church.
I just was curious, that looks so good, what they did, and they do it from a historical perspective.
I'll ask them.
Okay, so let's do the budget. At least make some more progress on it.
Pretty far along, aren't we?
Yep. And that's why I wish I had that spreadsheet, because one of the big areas is what we're gonna do for maintenance.
Yeah, here you
All
go.
right, let's go to page.
Start with expenses, page 3.
I made some notes on mine. Page.
Oh, the first one that comes up is under the executive 4130, and it's the New Hampshire municipal dues, $1,020. Did we get their packet yet for the end of the year? So they
Didn't.
tell us all the big important dates.
Didn't
I
see it
haven't
yet.
seen it.
Do we wanna do that?
Calendar.
Do we wanna do it? I say yes.
Well, last time, a couple years ago, we decided no, and we changed our mind.
That's
so.
right, we've learned. So,
Yeah.
okay, so the answer is yes. Go ahead, Mary Lou, you can take us to the next one.
Okay, so, then under election, I got no numbers from Virginia for mileage or for
Now, that mileage, I don't understand that as I was going through this. That mileage is
when she goes,
to Wolfboro.
no, she doesn't charge for that anymore. What she charges, well, she
She doesn't
only
charge
get
us,
a total.
she doesn't charge.
Mostly what she charges for is when she goes up to Conway to her things, but she does charge us mileage quarterly on her bills, and I've not had her delineate what that's for,
Okay.
so I will ask her. And then we broke out in the past, you put 2,500 to the IT contracts for the town, but you broke out a portion for her last year.
Right, because she was doing that transition.
Yep,
And she makes, she calls Lance for support, so we
Yes.
wanted to build differently.
right, and it has been.
So now that she's up and running, you wanna put like $300 or $400 in there just to,
Yeah, we spent 330, and I got his final bill, but I
or maybe
I
put
didn't look to
500?
see if it has.
500's good.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Put that out. So then,
You're gonna have the warrant article, you're gonna do the warrant
Yeah, I'm
article?
gonna do the warrants.
So you need a warrant article for
I
that,
was just checking that off. yeah.
okay? For the,
so I think Bill's gonna be under, if we had almost $2,000, 1,900 for 4 elections, and he only has 400 in, I wonder if we shouldn't put it up to 500 or 600, because he has, usually he has like Doesn't he usually have like Craig here for the day and sometimes Dick here for the day, or
That's
part of a day?
That's because he was running, he couldn't do the job. He was running, he was on the ballot.
He was on the ballot, so you couldn't, technically couldn't handle that.
So now he thinks he
He
could
can-
now that he's elected. Okay,
It's only the election years that he's running would be a problem.
all right.
They're his numbers.
Yes, they are. So treasurer looks okay, tax collector, let's go down to 4152 for the assessor.
Well, we should go back to elections, I'm sorry. We signed a bill, we signed some checks for the election workers.
Yeah,
Are they part of the 2016 actual? Must be.
yeah.
And the 400, he doesn't, Craig gets 200, and he puts his money back. Dr. Marsh gives
Yes,
his
he
money
does.
back.
Yep.
So the
And
200,
then there's, then you've got all the people that sit there like Doug and typically Frank, Ernie, Susan.
make it 600 for the salaries, because we've been paying all the counters now.
Yeah,
In the evening, we pay the people that count, get paid.
yeah.
So, okay. Treasurer is okay. Tax collector,
It was okay. Went down a little bit, it's probably because of those city envelopes.
And we need to do the contract for,
yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, negotiating the contract
So
for hours, so I
Let's,
don't,
we go up top, assessor clerk, she's got more, she needs more hours, because with the new contract, she has to do the scheduling of all the appointments. That's part of the new contract. She does that, gives the assessing company the schedule for visitations.
how many more hours you think that'll take?
I said 10 hours a month.
10 hours a
Not that
month,
much.
120 more hours a
No.
year?
not that much. She's
Pick a number. I'm okay. You picked a
Talk
number.
fast on the phone, I mean,
Yeah, she's fat.
It's okay, pick a number. I just,
You want to put an extra 500 in there?
if you want to do that,
yeah,
that's
that would be
fine.
good.
So if you do 500 at her current rates, that'd be an extra 31 hours for the year.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours a month.
That's fine.
Easy for you to say. I love it.
Why don't you go to 4,000?
That's where I was, but they said no.
I don't think she needs that much.
All right, 500 they want.
Well, We'll find out.
3,500 then.
Okay, so
And we gotta
And she's
change,
got 750 for a deputy
if we ever get there.
Yeah, if we ever get
we would just change assessing contract, get rid of Avatar and put in,
Assessing, yeah. Assessing,
what's the name of the company?
there.
Rod Hall,
Wood.
Rod Wood. Wood?
Yeah.
Why don't we just say assessing contract?
Yeah, that's why I don't even want to.
Take the Avatar out.
Well, I think there was always confusion. People would look at it, they say, who's getting the money? They didn't understand. But
So do we know what his contract will be?
Yes,
Yes,
and that's gonna be a discussion for three of us.
okay.
We know,
Do we have a magic number?
not yet,
Okay.
we know every card he looks at, it's $25. So all the building, we're gonna pick numbers now. You may not like my numbers again. We got building permits. He's gonna look at all those.
yep.
How many are there?
Does he look at $25 to look at a building permit? Or?
The building permit triggered,
It'll prompt a pickup. for
So
him
it's
to go
the
there and
pickup
look.
that he's doing, not the- looking at the, okay.
Yes,
Well, I
he
can
said
maybe
so.
give you some-
how many building permits do we have a year?
Is that he there?
Hold on.
It's a ballpark. Just ask him.
Well, no, Mary Lou will know.
She doesn't know.
How many building permits you do a year? Some of them are more than others. Most of them
He
are
left.
35.
Oh, some are thousands of dollars.
Well, hundreds. I've not seen 1,000.
You haven't showed Mary Lou the $1,000 building permit yet?
Oh, $1,000 ones? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got them.
We do?
Yes, ma'am.
So for this year,
They yell about it too, by the way.
Oh, they yelled. Which one do you know?
Just to pick a number.
what do you want, dollar?
No, how many?
How many?
On an average year.
10, 20,
2
50?
sheets, 3 sheets worth, and there's
It's not that
I'll
scientific.
tell you, yeah, if you give me a second. 2, 4,
30?
6, 7,
Stop being impatient.
14, 28,
Just ballpark number?
50?
35.
35.
35, okay.
I said 35 times 25.
25.
35, minimum.
That's the minimum.
No, 35 times $25 per
Pickup.
Oh,
pickup.
this is the new guy.
Oh,
35 times 25. Yeah, got it.
What is it?
875. You
875?
could round it to 1,000.
Now, that's the easy part. All right, then he charges $50 a month to come, $50 for every hour in the office.
Yep.
How many hours is that? 12? Once a month?
Yes, once a month. So even if you want to go 14, just to give them the cases a month.
So what's the number, 600, 700?
600.
Yeah, I'd go 700, just for extra
Okay, we're gonna
supplies.
be, this is gonna be tight, this budget. Okay, now, if he's gotta do any BTLs, that's $50 an hour. Any of that in there? $250, 5 hours.
Okay.
I was gonna put more than that, but that's,
Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
we've already done
You're
our
at
review.
he has to go to the hearing and all that,
Yeah, that's all part of it, yeah, 50 an hour.
because they don't.
Well, we've already done our evaluation and everything, so, I don't know, do you, we get a couple BTL hearings a year,
At most,
and we could always.
$500, 10
All right,
hours.
all right,
500.
I'm fine with that, I'm just,
All right. Here's the tough one.
Yes.
That was the easy stuff.
how much of the properties is it?
So, we paid Avatar to do 25% of the properties in town every year. Now, remember, we're gonna look at everybody that had a building permit. So if you put a garage up, or you have a building permit for something in your basement, we're gonna get it. If you didn't get a building permit, and it was just done with no record, we'll pick them up at a rate of doing 25% of the houses a year. So, that's 100 houses, times $25. How much is that? $2,500.
2,500. On top of your 22.
You entire,
2,500. How much will we realize
in tax savings?
in taxes by doing that activity? Will we realize $2,500 income? Given a garage for $10,000 gives us $200.
I think you still have to do it.
State doesn't say we have to do it.
Well, I know, I just
Bill
personally-
Nelson, if Bill Nelson says that's okay.
But I just think I think we should do it. And I realize you can lose on these types of things. If somebody does a small job,
Oh, you're right.
yeah, you can lose. I'm not denying that at all. But on the other hand, somebody does a gigantic project.
Building permit, you catch it. See, the big ones are, we're talking about the little ones. If it's a garage going up, we know it. If it's someone puts a bathroom in, we don't know it. And a bathroom is worth $3,000, that's $60, but we spend $25 to do it. He'll go either way. He says, whatever you want me to do, $25 a property. So we can put $2,500 more in there and do them, or we can save $2,500 and the next cycle, do them all again. So you're talking $2,500 a year for the next 4 years.
And the next cycle is,
In 4 years, then you start doing them again, because now people, you gotta do it once in a while.
it's costing you $10,000.
Do you get that revenue back?
Probably not.
Probably not. Do you keep the public happy by saying you've checked all the houses? Probably.
It cuts both ways.
Yeah, financially it says don't do it, but from the public's perspective, to check all the houses feels like the right thing to do for $25 a house.
And if you check in the house, it doesn't mean he's going inside the house.
He's gotta go in. He'll go in, otherwise he assumes you got gold fixtures.
No, he won't. He can't do that. He can't just assume you have.
That's what we do.
But if your basement's been done over and you got curtains up, he
Can't see it.
can't see it. And most people aren't going to let him in the house. I know I won't. So you're not going to catch the bathrooms. You're not going to catch the updated kitchen. You're going to catch the outside stuff, the additions, but that's going to be building permit. Most people aren't letting them in the house, or people, maybe, I bet you less than half let them in the house. That's what I was always saying, that most people don't let them in.
So you're suggesting,
Or it's people like us that aren't home.
People like us at work, paying our taxes. I don't know, I don't see the cost benefit there. And if we feel like we need to do it the following year, we can ramp it up.
And that's a good point.
And we
Brian.
could do a third.
That's a good point. If we get feedback that people want to spend the money to get this done, we do them all in 3 years. In other words, we just speed it up instead of
Speed up,
doing
do
100.
a third at a time.
We do 133
mhm.
to get it done. All right, so let's try that for a year, see if we get any feedback, because I think cost effective, it's not cost effective to do it. Yeah, Tom? Yes,
You
sir.
know, I gotta say
Go ahead.
Right now, real estate's on the up. So if he does check 100 houses, he's probably gonna raise the assessed value of every one of those houses.
No.
Even if it's only by 100.
No, what they do is they update the property card to say you've got X number of bathrooms to make sure it's correct.
Yeah.
When we do a reassessment in 4 years, they look at the sale of all the houses in town and they do a statistical update. They say,
So for the $100, he doesn't even check the house?
he just checks for physical changes that will be reflected in 3 years.
But they don't
But not the
revalue,
market value?
Not
no,
the
they
mar-
don't
not the-
revalue the town. That's when we do the
Not the mar-
revaluation in 5 years.
They're looking for changes to the property only. See, and that's the catch.
But doesn't that affect the property's valuation that year or the next year?
If you change your property, yes. If they catch it, yes. But it doesn't look at the current value of the market. Bathrooms are worth $3,000. If you put a
It
bathroom,
evaluates the extra bathroom at the previously used cost.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
Yep.
small difference.
Small, if it's a bathroom, it's $3,000 on assessed value times 20. So if you put a bathroom in, we get $60 without a building permit. Because if you because if we put a building permit in, we're gonna go look. So all right, we're gonna skip a year.
We can skip you. If we start to see building permits drop off, but yet we know the economy's still fine, then we know people are ducking it.
Okay.
And if building permits stay the same, I think that's a good indicator, a good barometer that people are reporting properly.
I'd like to hear Eddie's, well, would it make a difference hearing his plans or Bill?
I hear my name again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get some work done here. What's up?
How much work's done in town without a building permit that you find out about?
Like long after it's too late to do anything about?
Sure.
Or catch them in the act?
Long after,
I would say,
both.
in a value, how do you want to present that information? A dollar value?
Sure.
How many cases?
However you want to tell us.
I would say there's probably, let's see, if we go on 35, 36 permits a year, I bet 15 of them are after they've started work.
15, are they for interior work or exterior work?
Some of each. I
Real-
don't do a lot of interior unless there's an addition going on, because unless they're changing, it's hard to tell when somebody's doing a change to the inside of their house unless they're doing it a big way that needs a permit.
So how do you stumble upon these 15?
I know a lot of people.
Okay.
Most of them are changing their roofs without a permit. The term is in kind. If they're simply maintaining their property and they're taking the 3-tab shingles off and putting new 3-tab shingles on, there's no permit required. But when you go to worn-out three-tab roof and you're putting metal on, it's a permit required for that. Somebody puts in a shed, builds a law, just building a garden shed, well, you need a permit.
And they run what, $2,000? No, not the permit. The shed might be worth what, $2,000 or $3,000?
Yeah. Yep.
$60.
Yep.
What's it costing us to get to 60?
Never
25.
about, they only get caught when the assessors come.
Right, so that's a guess, but I would bet there's probably, I bet the assessors catch probably 10 a year. Pick up something.
Doesn't pay to do it,
It's a lot.
but it doesn't pay, but they're small things.
Yeah.
Doesn't pay to do it. You
You
show
know,
my
some
file.
interior, just to give you an idea, on the interior of a home, the only time you need a permit is if you're doing a structural change, or you're increasing, you're taking, say, a bedroom, and you're gonna expand your kitchen. Because you're increasing the cost per, the evaluation, the per foot evaluation from a bedroom, which is minimal, to a kitchen, which is one of the highest. And it's hard to catch that.
Okay, so we got more data. That was change your mind?
Kind of reinforce it.
No, thanks for that. Okay, so the number for that line is,
Well, I'm gonna go along with this for a year, but I still, see what happens in a year.
And that is how some of these towns get away without a building department.
what do you mean?
There are still some towns in New Hampshire that don't have.
How do they, what do
What's that?
they, what do they get away with? I mean, people build,
Not, get away with not having a building inspector.
they let the assessor find everything?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Okay,
So what was the number we,
well, I want to ask Mary.
You were at 2,200 before you were gonna add the
Thank you.
2,500.
So we're at 2,200 today. What page are we on? I'm sorry, I gotta find it fast.
page 5?
Page 5, we were at, where was it?
4152.350.
Today, we're at 9,000.
Yes,
We're looking at, what'd you just say?
2,200. If you don't add the 2,500.
Because this is the first year, I'd go to 5.
Yeah,
Cut it in half.
Okay.
yeah, that's good.
we'll all sleep better.
Okay, now go ahead, Mary Lou.
Okay, so trustees of the trust funds are okay, auditing is okay. Legal, you wanna leave it 5,000 each?
Yep.
I have a question on the MS5. Is that still something, through all the headaches you had, that,
I got the raise, I'll do the job. Hopefully I've learned about this stupid school. So,
There was, we did perambulation, we skipped that.
Emulation.
Yeah, there was, we put $1 in there, but there's stuff going on with that.
for planning board,
I'm sorry, I took you,
Or ZBA?
I made some notes, all the way back on page 2, 4130, executive.
Page 3.
Page 3 is it, I got my notes.
4130?
Ye-
Yeah, 4130, 400.
4130.
We're getting some feedback, that we might have to do a perambulation
Oh.
on the Wakefield town line. Some people think it's not right. Right? Is that the feedback we're getting?
I haven't heard anything further since I supplied that.
It's winter. See, it's winter, so no one's gonna be messing around in the dead of winter. I think we gotta put the money in there. If we have to get a surveyor involved to find out where the town line is, it's gonna cost us money.
How much money?
We haven't done that.
not gonna cost a fortune, they gotta go the whole line with Wakefield.
I put 10,000.
Really?
We have to do that, I don't think it's gonna be around that at
I
least.
mean, are they chipping in for this, or this is, why don't they have to prove where the line is?
We're just doing the budget. We don't have to spend it. I mean, we're walking, if you, I looked at the records for the last perambulation. You walk, you walk 400 yards to this rock, you walk 400 yards to that tree, you walk 500 yards to this rock. Then if you look at the charter which is on the wall out here, because I talked to a surveyor about how you do a perambulation. If you look at the town charter, which is right out there on the wall, it's very simple. From this point to that point in a straight line, go. So when we did the perambulation years ago, if we did this, because you're doing it with a compass and you're going through a swamp or you got a cliff, you introduce errors. The charter is a straight line from this point to that point. So could a surveyor do it with Google Earth?
I mean, this could be, I'd love to see what other towns do on something like this, because this could open a total can of worms for both towns, for Wakefield or for us. I mean, we could end up with houses, or we could lose houses. I mean, it's school taxes, it's everything that's involved.
That's why you do it every 7 years.
But they don't do it that way.
We didn't do it either.
No, but I mean, what towns actually have similar boundaries that actually walk the boundaries? And can tell you that there is this spot and they're going exactly a straight line.
Well, the technology 7 years ago, 10 years ago, you couldn't do that. The technology's changed today. You can do it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you should do it, just
Right.
because you can.
Well, the state says you should do it every 7 years, following your charter.
Well, I wouldn't want to touch it without legal,
Well,
or somebody advice.
I'd like to get the House of Representatives down there to change the law. It was very simple today. Use the current technology.
When the technology changes, so that you can do it to the nearest half inch,
Yeah.
are you gonna upgrade to that? There's no need for that.
There is if someone says our date is wrong.
And then what happens with survey? I mean, there are so many things with deeds and every other darn thing that's involved.
I didn't make the law up. Somebody came into the office and said, I don't think you did it right.
And one day ask Wakefield if
They did.
And what did they say?
What did they say?
They wanted our copy. They have Wakefield's and they wanted ours.
So they just want a copy of ours.
I thought Wakefield.
So, I mean, why do we have to prove ours is right?
We don't have to prove anything. We just have to give them a copy of it. You have a copy of it, but it's 40 years old and it's from log to log to log. We can give them a copy.
What's Wakefield's?
I have no
To log, to log, to log, probably.
I have no idea.
40 years old, didn't we have one 4 or 5 years ago?
On some of the easy boundaries.
Oh,
It was
it
never
complete?
finished.
Yeah. Yeah. Ed?
Selectman Charlie Edwards over in Wakefield basically walked the line with a GPS, and he has it all set, so next time they're gonna have no problem. And they're very cooperative over in Wakefield to try to perhaps,
The Wakefield Brookfield line?
the Wakefield Effingham line. But they've circumnavigated their whole town. They've done the same thing up in, for Effingham, and I don't know what they did with us. I don't think we've shared that information yet, so. But he doesn't go log, he goes out with his GPS and he finds the waypoints. It took him a while to do it, but he did it.
See, the question is, do you believe the waypoints or do you believe the charter? And that's not for us, that's a lawyer's question, right?
I mean, I think to find the lines and say, oh, this is where the tree was supposed to be, or you know where that mark is, that's easy with a GPS, because that's what they did on some of it. It's the problem of, when they walked this for how many hundred years, they didn't go straight.
That's right,
They couldn't go straight.
that's right. That's right, they did the best they could.
Right.
So what do you want to put in the budget? We may not have to spend anything, but we might have to spend some. That's what started this. We're not gonna,
How much does it cost?
that's a lot of money.
1,000, 10,000?
I suggested 10,000. for that line. It's 7 miles long. That's our longest boundary. It's a quote-unquote simple boundary, where there's not a lot other than swamp.
Where is this?
Wakefield.
On the Wakefield section?
Someone said they don't think it's right.
So if I'm living in something, I just, it's not right to go out and spend $10,000? Why don't they have to prove
Did
it?
a citizen in Brookfield say they didn't think it was right?
No. So I think, I don't know, what I'm hearing is, would you share some light on what you heard about this, Lori? Somebody called?
Someone called and they were requesting a copy of what we had on file for the Brookfield-Wakefield line, which we supplied them. And I did suggest that they go to Wakefield and get their copy, and they already had, and they were thinking it was incorrect. So they wanted ours to compare.
What was the date on ours, do you remember? It was old.
I don't.
It was old, handwritten.
Don't they put monuments in just like a survey? So, there's some monuments up over on the Moose Mountain line. I've seen some of them.
Oh, there might be. There might be.
I thought they had to put them in, just like, but the description on how many paces to get there might be different.
When I went up to the surveyor for the other issues we were working. I said, what about perambulation? He says, what you got to do is go to the town charter down in Concord and read the definition of the town line and on the charter. That's what determines the town line. We've got it posted on our vestibule here, a copy of it.
Really?
And it says from this point, and it was the old range and road stuff,
Sure.
but from this point to that point, on this bearing, go 7 miles straight.
Yeah,
That's the charter.
yeah. But I bet at the end of that 7 miles, there'll be a.
Yeah, there should be.
monument.
There should
A
be.
pin.
There
They're
should be.
brass, they're about that big around.
There should be something,
Yeah.
but the perambulation says, we found this log, we found this tree, we found this rock on the way up.
Yeah, guiding you along the way.
Technology, that's what, you didn't have anything.
Right.
So anyway, if we have to do something, we need some money in the budget, is my point. We're not generating it, we're waiting.
$1.
$1.
I just think this opens a tremendous hornet's nest that we need to get, we can't just jump at doing this.
We're not doing anything. I'm not suggesting we do anything. All I'm suggesting is if we get challenged, we have some money in the budget to do something. That's my point.
Well, I'm not so sure, and I don't know, this is just a hunch from having dealt with Craig through some of this stuff. I'm not so sure if both towns agree. I don't know if it's challengeable.
I have no idea.
Meaning if that's why a representative from Brookfield and a representative from Wakefield are supposed to do this. And if you walk through the woods and go, wow, my best guess from what I have is it's on that rock. And the guy from the other town says, yeah, that's close enough for me. Okay, it's that rock. If the towns agree, I think that's what it's at.
Nope.
Do you mean that if the towns
Nope.
agree, no individual can challenge?
Well,
Yep.
that's what I.
They did it down in Middleton. They challenged Wakefield, remember?
Middleton did.
Middleton,
But not an individual.
an individual from Middleton
Middleton.
challenged it.
Really?
And they changed the line because it wasn't per the charter. So no, Wakefield didn't generate it. Middleton didn't generate it. It was public. Because he was in the wrong town from a zoning perspective. Hi, Diane.
So that was the case that I was thinking of, the one down in the Union area. But was that not very specific to that person's property? And so that they didn't have to survey the entire boundary between Wakefield and Middleton?
That's right.
They were focused just on that area.
That's right.
So if we're talking about a focused area on, for one individual's property line,
Yes.
vis-a-vis which town they're in, is a lot different than running a line 7 miles. Although what you said is perfectly understandable. It's that the law suggests that it should be done every 7 years. That's a different issue. It's a challenge versus routine kind of update. is what I see it. And my personal opinion is I think 10 grand is a good placeholder. But that's my personal opinion.
Thank you, because we don't have to spend it. But if someone says, you got a problem, we gotta find the money to deal with it somehow. That's my
Are
point.
you looking to add the money into the legal?
No, there's a line for perambulation.
At least that way, if you increase that, you can't take it out for legal.
You can move it.
I think 10's a awful high. I'm thinking 5 grand.
Fine.
You know, it's,
What do you want to do, one?
I don't want to do anything with my dollar personally.
Put a dollar.
it just seems like one person stirring the pot is causing us to jump.
My concern is, and I realize this could come down that we have to do something, but the commotion that could cause for both towns. You know, I think what you said, one property would be the way to do it, but I mean, we could end up with 10 more houses and 50 kids in the town, or we could give away, you know, it's critical.
But you gotta do what the law says. The law says you gotta do a perambulation, and that's where the line is. I understand all the consequences. Ed?
I would think that we should just basically plan for the fact that we have to do a perambulation and figure out how much we want to squirrel away for that item and not worry about this one individual right now.
And then part of my thought was, do we go ahead and create
That's right,
a trust fund and set to sock money away in case this does become an issue, and we can cap it, you know, we can start putting $2,500 a year in until we get to 10 grand and then shut it down. And or do we just go and put a line item down and just keep rolling it year after year if we don't do it?
I think this is one where the attorney needs to give us some input based on what other towns have found on this. There's got to be a history on this whole thing.
Okay, I'll talk to her.
All right, it's probably worth talking to,
Talk to her.
yeah. Let's
And
talk to
if
Laura.
she says, yeah, this is an issue, and it's been a trouble all over, and all these towns had to do this and that, I agree. If she would,
I'll talk to
I
her.
would like her input if you don't mind.
Sure, that's fine.
All right, it's a lot of dough talking about this, let's work.
Well, yeah, it's a very interesting issue. Somebody don't know who it is, what it is, where it is.
Right. This is an individual who's calling looking for this information, not the town.
Oh,
No,
no.
it wasn't like a town.
No, no,
It's very possible Wakefield has done their perambulation.
they did.
And he doesn't like it, and he's hoping to use your information to challenge it.
Could be, but we're still supposed to have one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it could be. Could be a surveyor with a subdivision. You don't know what's going on. You know, could be. Who knows? Well, she knows. All right. I'm sorry, where were we? We skipped that?
We were on page, what, 6 or?
We were at 4153 legal fees.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
So we're good there.
Yep, going to page 6.
So reevaluation of the property will still stay at 0,
Where are you at?
4160?
Come here, back one.
You went back one.
What line, 4160?
It's the very bottom of page.
Oh, very,
5.
very, very, okay.
Yeah, we're not doing that this year.
Okay,
We're not
Now,
doing-
we're putting money in that fund?
We're putting
We will.
money in that trust fund,
we'll get there.
We'll get it later on, okay.
but we're not
it's on the warrant.
spending it.
Right.
All right.
Do we need a dollar?
Oh,
No,
you
we're not
went
gonna do
to,
We're not gonna do it.
did you want to do anything with the planning board?
Nope, they were happy with their number.
Okay. Zoning board, no, ZBA, oh. There was a check for chairman of the ZBA that, we have to talk about that after the meeting.
Yeah, for Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about that. So then we're down to general buildings, 4194. So what do you want to do this year?
That's why I had that
Your
spreadsheet.
project.
That's why I had that spreadsheet, because I knew this was the area.
Do you want to wait?
Yes, I'd like to
Let's
wait.
You get,
Okay.
get data together, let's wait on it.
It was a 5-year view.
Then let's wait, because you can put that work into it.
All right, so where are we at now? We're on page 7?
Page 7.
Cemetery, 4195.
And these are the numbers from Craig, right?
Yep. Do you think that's all it will be?
What about the care of the Old Town Cemetery and supplies? That would be a 0 there?
He thought both would be that number.
Oh, the
Would
6,095?
do both.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Now, but can that money be used on the old town cemetery?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we need to take out the part that says,
Yeah, I was just gonna say that could,
Why don't we
I'll
just
just
make it?
I'll just break it, instead of
Town
old and new, I'll just do
Yeah.
town
Yeah,
cemeteries.
his archival was good.
Yes. So we'll come back to contingency, I would assume as
Yeah.
well.
And we need the next,
Any numbers from Wakefield yet?
No. I was gonna call, but I'm not sure they have them yet.
so what's gonna happen with contingency?
we
Leave
didn't,
it for now. That's usually one of the last ones we fill in. And I will call Teresa and see if she has any numbers. Forestry.
I got a call from the state about this
Plan?
plan. And she tells me that the town doesn't want to do it. And I said, well, we have a grant review committee that's waiting to look at the grant. And she indicated that that was available and forwarded to us. I said, okay, we'll check on that. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, she got email from it way back when. Because she gave us a URL to look at. It's not a long document. And I said, we're waiting for the last plan that we did in 2002. And she says, well, I guess Brad's gonna get that for you. And I said, that's what we're waiting on. But I saw some mail right recently that Brad's working on the plan. This is the,
Hazard mitigation plan.
To bring it up to date.
There's 2 different plans.
Yeah, there's 2 plans out there. One we were,
one we're current on.
yeah.
The other one is free money for $5,000.
But isn't it matching again with hours spent?
Yes. Free money.
Which isn't free.
She thought it was. Yeah,
For something we don't need.
that's right. She goes, well, if you don't have one and you have an emergency, FEMA may not give you the money to fix it. I said, who? She goes, FEMA. I couldn't get a name. Big government. Because I mean, that's my bias. I'm sorry. So anyway, that's still working. We might have to put, if we want to do it, we have to put $5,000 in the budget for that so we can spend it. Doesn't mean we're going to do it, but if we don't put it in the budget, we can't spend it.
Put it in. You didn't want to hear that, did you?
No. Put it in. Put it in. Don't have to spend it just like the
And
president.
it's not on here, right?
No. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I don't see it.
No, I didn't put it in.
I think we have to, we should put it in if we might spend it.
Oh, we can discuss it.
So,
We can cut it at time in.
oh, I don't want to do that. It's simple. So we're gonna, you have to put it in someplace, Mary, the $5,000 for it.
Well, that's just my opinion, I'm only one person.
Doesn't hurt to put it in. We're not spending the money.
No, well, I agree, yeah.
We're not spending it. We'll vote to spend it. Heavy sigh. So, and the forestry, he's gonna give us his plan, but
I thought I might be able to find the email.
I'll show it to you.
All right, so,
Is it hazard mitigation?
No, it's
No, it's
not.
the emergency management.
Emergency preparedness plan, something like that?
Emergency. We'll get you the right words, emergency
Yeah, put down
management.
Emergency plan. We'll get the exact title.
Heidi,
I have a copy of the email at home.
it came from Heidi Lawford, I think. Heidi, her first name is Heidi. If you do a search on from Heidi. All right, so let's move on, Mary Lou. You don't have to do it now. CEO. Oh, it's down. Cell phone's out. Yep.
Yeah.
See, that's all right. You're right with the page 8. Emergency management, that's where it was.
You wanted 5,000.
Yep,
Oh, the emergency man, okay,
Yeah.
I was looking at.
yep.
So instead of under, so probably under emergency management.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, 4290-300.
So change it from $1 to 5,000.
Yeah, that'll get some eyes.
So let me just.
Where did it go? For the road work, we're gonna have to get some estimates of how many feet we're gonna do or
What to
whatever.
do, and, yeah.
We got Bryce,
Oh, yeah, I had Bryson tumble down.
but we don't have anything on tumble down. We're not doing all of tumble down, we're doing some hills,
Okay.
but we don't know how low those hills, yes.
Can I throw a quick note in?
Sure.
I made a note that the hazard mitigation plan, the last one was done in 2005.
Yeah, sounds right.
And the other plan name is Emergency Operations Plan.
That's it.
That's it, thank you. We're trying to think about the road budget for paving, and we talked about doing some of the hills on tumble down. You have to give us a number on how many feet there are there.
I can't.
I know that, that's when you get it, right, we need that, we have Bryce, but we'll put it in the spreadsheet.
Yeah, we got the other part of Bryce we're gonna do.
Yep, and we need some numbers to quantify the tumble down deck.
Yep,
All right,
sure.
thank you.
We need that tomorrow?
No. We'll leave that. No, what do we need?
Nice.
All right.
So nothing again from Wakefield for their
Oh, here we go. There's
transfer
gonna be
station.
some good ones coming now.
So, we've had, for health agencies, we've had no word from Northern Human Services or Meals on Wheels. I spoke to the woman at Meals on Wheels Friday and reminded her that we need something if they want money. They're trying to do something.
We're going to page 9?
Yeah. So next would be one of our favorites, Parks and Recs, Wolfboro.
Parks and Recs, Wolfboro.
And here's not.
It was a warrant article?
The challenge is, at the last town meeting, the town said we should do this. This year, we have more data. It's a more challenging argument. But if the town wants to do it and spend the money, then we should support it. But the
Did we
arg-
get data from him?
Yes, we got data.
Oh, isn't that exciting?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And remember what the numbers look like? About. It wasn't as,
It wasn't as robust as we, is that it there? Good.
yes,
Will you
Diane,
be sharing that data?
absolutely. That was a trip.
So they don't know for this, for last year, or they have to go on a calendar year?
Yeah.
There's more info on this one too.
Well, there's more coming. Is that the letter?
Yep, sorry.
Could you read that part of it, or?
Sure. For 2016, as of 11/3, season passes for 2016 and 17. Sales have just started and Abenaki does not open until 12/26. Here are the total numbers of Brookfield residents who took part in programs or purchased season passes at resident rates. 5 resident rate season passes at Popwayland and Abenaki, and that compares to 8 for 2015. 100 resident rate day passes at Popwayland and Abenaki, and that compares with 112 for last year. 80 individual resident rate registrations for programs such as day camp, soccer, swim lessons, etc., and that compares with 45 for last year, so that one is up.
Now, their calendar year is
Has to be a
different.
calendar year for them.
Yeah, but theirs is different than ours. Their calendar year?
No.
No, calendar is, no.
I mean, their year goes
No.
from
Their
us.
calendar
That's
year
your
is
calendar,
the
right?
town of Wolfboro's calendar. Most of us are calendar.
Okay. I was just thinking, because we start now, if you made a change, the services are for next year. It's crazy. She said how many, or they said how many people have signed up for the 16-17 year.
Right.
So that becomes a problem, because if you say, no, these people have already signed up,
Well, that also suggests it's not a calendar year basis.
that's,
But the town runs on a calendar year,
Do you know how much?
and her budget runs on a calendar year.
Do you know how much these items cost? Do you remember?
Have they listed it?
Like a yearly pass, what's a yearly pass? Do you remember?
I don't, sorry.
Okay, I mean, I've never used that.
I'd have to go online and look. It's been years since my kids have been in this, so I just don't remember.
All right, we should try to figure out how much we're saving. Yes, Diane?
Is there information about the other 2 communities that participate in this, or is it just Brookfield?
It's just Brookfield
Well, that
information.
doesn't help us at all.
Why's that?
Nothing to compare.
There's nothing to compare to in terms of the relative cost for Brookfield versus the entire program.
They charge us by our population.
By the population, yes.
Oh, we're back to that?
Still there?
It's always been there.
But it started with a number snatch. Yeah, never mind.
No, go ahead.
I don't recall the details. It's been months since I looked at that level of detail, but it was a number that they acknowledged was a snapshot in time. And as I recall, it started with Tuftonboro, and it just, when I was told how that evolved, it was mind-boggling when I talked to them last spring. I think that the best way to look at this is the relative cost for Brookfield residents versus all the other residents that are participating from the different communities, from the 3 communities, rather than just assessing our own participation over time within our own community. If we're 1/10 of the entire cost, but we're paying 25% of the cost, or I'm not saying this right, but
I understand.
Yep.
it makes more sense for us to know what everybody else is doing, and that's what I asked them for, and I thought we were going to get, because they were gonna track everything by community, and when they said each community was going to, they were gonna better track the participation from the 3 different communities, then I thought we'd get a ratio or a percentage of what Brookfield participation is versus Tuftonboro versus Wolfboro, and then go from there. This doesn't help us at all.
Tells us how many Brookfield residents are using it.
Excuse me, it helps us a little bit.
That's what we got.
Can we ask for more?
I can ask them for the other towns.
But there's no agreement that we're gonna share costs equally or fairly. This is the bill that they give to Brookfield for if they have our residents participate. We're gonna get additional data, either we're getting a deal or we're not getting a deal,
We're paying the same.
or we're paying this do you mean can't say?
Well, because the idea of the program is that if we participate
We-
in, they base it upon the population of all the communities that are in there, and it breaks it down a per pass, what a per pass would cost per family. And the idea is if we're a participating town, then we're getting the rate that Wolfboro residents are charged at.
A percent based upon total population?
No, they figure out what their costs are.
Yep.
Their costs are X.
Yep.
Then they figure out, in order to break even, essentially, because it's Parks and Recs, they're not profiting, they need to sell X amount of passes, and they say it's gonna cost this many passes, and they sell these many passes, and then when the passes get sold out, that's what happens. And so we're getting the same cost
So you-
as the other towns.
So they're prorating the cost
Deferring the cost because we're
based
now.
upon
subs-
population.
Right, because we're in there, and we're paying it.
So
All
we're
right,
roughly
take
paying
this.
$6 per resident,
$6.98.
Yeah.
6 for each resident.
Right.
So we're going to assume, maybe or maybe not, that Wolfboro, we take their population and multiply it by
Well,
698.
but they get subsidized by their taxes.
Right, see, I think it's only us and Tuftonboro that are,
You know, it's only these two towns that we get paid into. We're the two participating towns that aren't Wolfboro. But I can find out about Tuftonboro, but
Sure,
that's,
ask them.
that's about all we're gonna be
But-
able to find out.
But they give us a bill to participate, and I'm not sure how they
yeah.
develop that bill. They say $7.
604 residents,
Yeah.
that's $6.98.
So whether it's the total cost, whether it's, I don't know how they derive that cost. Right, so.
I don't know, I'll,
Thank you.
thanks.
All right. Where are we at? Library, they want 14,000.
There's your library, yes. 14,000 for the library.
They'll be happy to come and talk to us.
Yes, they will, and I guess I guess we should invite her over. She volunteered a couple of times. This percentage went up more than Wakefield's. Our increase is not much, but it's more than the Wakefield increase because she sent the spreadsheet. I don't know why it keeps going up. It goes up $400 or $500 every year.
Yeah, when we first started, it was like 10 grand.
It's up. We don't have to authorize what they ask for. We can authorize anything we want. It's a grant. Want me to offer her to come to a meeting? Would you like that?
Just for historical purposes, that the last time we went down from the floor, it was up, I think, even more than they had asked for.
If that's what the town wants to do, that's okay. That's why you have the town meeting. If they want to spend money, we can spend it.
They can spend it.
We spend it, they just say spend it.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. So I mean,
Oh, I think we should have her come.
okay. I'll invite her.
Sure.
What else do we have on this? We done?
We did the 200 again for the flags. Heritage Commission, agricultural, we kept it $1. Conservation stayed the same. Oh, we should probably put $1,000 in for 4723, the debt service, interest on debt, in case we need to.
Yeah, tax anticipation, yes.
And we have to do a warrant article.
Do we need a warrant article on that?
All right, so warrant. Now, that's a recurring warrant. We had the same one last
That's what
year.
they said.
No, we
yeah.
didn't do, we've never done one.
Oh, we didn't? Okay, we
have
were
to do
supposed to
one.
have done
Go
one.
Yes.
back a year, it's the same wording as 2 years ago.
All right, that's what I thought. Okay, I knew we did one before, but we didn't do one last
I
year,
don't know
right?
whether you can make it permanent. I don't know whether you can authorize it for more than 1 year, because
I'll ask, because when I read these, when I send these through Laura, I'll put a sticky note and say, can we make this a permanent fixture or not?
I
But
thought we could, according to the guy at the bank.
well, maybe we never did it right.
yeah, so let me check with Laura, but that'll be another warrant. I'll put that down here.
All right. Can we do the 500 for the Heritage Fund and the Conservation Fund?
Yes, and I can support it actively this year, because I know where you're spending your money.
And Did you see most of the exhibit is up?
Yes? And the
Yes.
chandelier's up and the
The
sconces are up
chandeliers.
and you paid for half of that?
Yes, and I still have to write the town a check for that, so I'll get it done before the end of the year.
All right.
So town roads are gonna wait.
Town repair on town roads.
I don't know to bring that spreadsheet. So when do we want to meet again? When do we want to have a public hearing on this? When are we going to wrap this up?
We need to,
We are scheduled to meet one more time this year, the 27th.
so we should be getting a calendar from whoever it is we're a member of, New Hampshire Municipal
I
Association.
haven't seen it yet.
No.
So when that comes, that'll give us the dates on when the last meeting has to be and all of that.
Public hearings. So we're gonna meet again on the 27th, right?
Yes, is that late
You
enough?
are?
That's our
Are
scheduled
you
meeting?
meeting on Christmas? After Christmas?
I don't
Well,
know.
it's the 27th, why not?
Because you never have.
I know.
That's fine with me, what the heck?
Yeah, I
Is
just
that
assumed-
late enough? Is that late?
Yeah.
Because you want us to sign checks at the end of the year, right? Is that,
I will.
Yeah, so I'm good with the 27th. Let's
Yes,
just-
good for me. Why don't we do the 25th?
yeah, we're
Ho,
right.
ho, ho.
27th, and we'll put, should I ask, what's her name, Burl? To come over on the 27th?
Yes, Beryl Donovan.
We'll have her on first on the 27th and talk about that budget. I'll bring my little spreadsheet.
Wait, no, we're not done.
We have to sign checks?
Yes,
Checks and bills.
we have,
You better do it, I won't close it.
Louis.
All right.
Don't close it out.
27th, we're gonna do it, that's a scheduled meeting.
Yep.
I can't believe it.
What?
Too funny.
I'm gonna go get that other check. Oh, I didn't bring mine. Does
Hey, I wonder
anybody
if we
have
met
their
on New
keys? Do you
Year's
have your
Eve if they
keys?
Would you
change the year.
The chip thing.
I would close that, it wouldn't. Meet on New Year's Eve. If they
You want
switch the
Garfield's?
year.
You coming to the trustee, the trust fund meeting on the? You are?
Am I going to it? Is it this Thursday?
No. Closer to Christmas.
Oh. So I don't understand this note.
What note? I,
Did I miss public comment?
no,
You have it. so-
but it's good you put your hand up, I mean, you might have.
Oh, we can just cross it out.
The,
I don't care because it's,
Just a second, Diane's got a public, yes.
sorry, the information is on the New Hampshire Municipal Association website. They've had this up for, I think, at least a month. I remember looking into it with regard to the planning board stuff.
Okay.
So the calendars are available,
They are,
yes, on their website.
oh,
Over the government.
okay.
Yeah, we like the big one.
Okay.
Yeah, these are done. Any other public comments? Yes.
It's really a question. I didn't want to interrupt the presentation made by the tax collector, but would it be possible to get some clarification about the abatements for Martha Hunter?
Sure, maybe I can answer them, go ahead. The issue was the way the deeds, the tax bills come out of the assessing database. So there was some confusion about which parcels the town bought. The deed is a very interesting deed, but once you understand it, it's okay, but it's an interesting deed. Describe the parcels as this piece of land, except that. So it was hard to understand what this piece of land was, except that. And once that was clarified, it was entered into the system correctly. But the tax bills were generated before that went into the assessing system. Does that make sense?
It's part of the land
So,
sale, right?
but I guess what's confusing to me is this the first year that they've had an abatement?
Oh, it's the land we bought.
It's the land that we bought, and just the deeds didn't get properly input into the assessing system, so we generated bills to Marshall Hunter when we now own the land now.
That's
That's
thank
all
you.
it is.
Was it just the proration for the time of the year that?
No, it's for
she owned
it's for the current tax cycle that we're billing on, and we own it. So we generated bills under her name when the bills should be coming to town of Brookfield.
But she owned it for 2 months of that 6.
Yeah, and that was taken care of at the closing.
Yeah, all the back taxes get taken care of there.
We're talking maybe
$12-13 from.
a couple, $300.
No, was it even that much?
Okay.
That's the gross number.
Oh, all right.
Mary Lou, is the pay rate on this correct for Lynn Watts? I thought we upped her pay.
We did, I'll pay her whatever her current rate is.
Okay, but she has 13, I thought we upped that for her.
Oh, I think that's right. I think 13 is correct.
I thought we upped that. Okay. You might want to, if you could double check.
I'll check it.
Will not pay it to credit, okay.
And I have a welfare check to write as well.
Oh, there's checks here, but we don't have to say open for that. Anything else before we sign checks? Is that, don't need to do that? Yes. Anything else?
There is an important county delegation meeting Thursday at 9 a.m. That's been announced. 95 Waterville Road, Administration Building.
So it looks like they've done their proposed budget?
Mhm.
Correct. Commissioners.
Yes.
Commissioners have.
Yes, yes, yes.
And that will be presented to us on Thursday.
Okay.
Again, question on Ed's bill here, for the spreading and gravel on Sanborn and Tumble Down. Each 6W, large backhoe, small backhoe, each were operated exactly the same amount of time?
Well, there's 3 people on the equipment.
I mean, everybody was doing the 21 hours a meeting. Okay.
3 guys go to work and
3 persons working, that's fine.
Anything else? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
There's some mixed in here, Brian,
Oh,
some of the
they
ones,
signed.
some we already signed. some-
Yeah, I have to go through the bills. I did the checks. I just didn't do I didn't get all the bills done yet.
I'm going back to the monthly.
I'm not trying to cause trouble, the fact that there was 21, 21, 21. I was picturing 2 people operating and how we got operating 3 machines.
My knees are stiff.
We are doing different things at different times.
You're lucky if that's all that's stiff, Fred.
Because you gave me the stern book last time about the pile of gravel, I had to, so we set up with a mission.
So all 3 are going at this
Yeah,
point.